Now, in our own industry, the restaurant, there are restaurant companies whose focus or their core business centers around training for waiters, for barmen, for security men, down to butlers and everybody.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between customer service and customer experience. Now, the experience is actually what you remember and what will bring you back. And the service is what you probably get anywhere else. Now, that experience boils down to how the waiter smiles at you, how the security man tells you, Madam, maybe park where, why smiling? I think that's what we lack. So now to expand on your question about how do we
fix it?
How do we fix this? I think the fundamental is we not accepting mediocre mentality. So like my people, my staff, they know Mr. Henry is always big on customers. So I don't really mind anything else that happens. But whatever impression the customer has off or on the business, that's what I'm looking out for. I have situations where I've had to fire staff because of one or two complaints from a customer. And in our industry, outside digital marketing, whatever conventional means of marketing we have now, the core is word of mouth. And that word of mouth still boils down to the customer experience. So whatever it is Mr. A says to Mr. B, that's when Mr. B will come. Now, I'll use you as a case study. Now, you've been there a couple of times, and then you brought Chris, the authentic traveler. And that's because you came and they had a good experience. If that didn't happen, you wouldn't have brought Chris. We wouldn't have been able to tap from Chris' own grace, with his publicity, with his platform, with his followers, with his digital presence. So I would say we have to invest a lot more on training. Training from top to bottom, to managers, waiters, everybody. And I think one of the problems we have, again, like I mentioned earlier, it is the mentality around the career in this our industry. So people see the restaurant industry as somewhere you just go and work and pass.
It's placeholder until I get the real job.
No, okay, I'm going to school. Let me just do here 2 months and then move and get a white collar job. But it's not. I'll use myself as a case study also. I started as a waiter.
Wow.
And then I've grown to waiter, team leader, supervisor, and now manager. Who knows what's next for me? Maybe Tony Elumelu will come in tomorrow and say, come and take over Transcorp. And this is because I've been able to build a track record from experience. So I would say we in the industry need to be able to sell the industry to people as somewhere you can actually work and build a career around, and not just where you could just fizzle in and then fizzle out.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, Frizzle wants to say something.
I'm really excited about what Henry just said, and this is because I can see the deficiency practically, because what I do, I don't call myself a tour operator anymore. I call myself an experience curator. And this is because I understand that what I'm delivering is experience. I'm in the business of experience. And it's beyond taking people from point A to point B. There are a lot of things that go in between. And you want people to always come back. And sometimes some of the experience that we want to deliver to people are not hinged on us, but they are hinged on third service providers.
Yes.
And these are people that we take to those places. I don't want to give a scenario, right? But I want to say that guest experience is utmost important to delivering tourism experience. And some of us within the tour guiding space, we are the ones that get these people, they come to us as the first point of call, but to deliver an experience that will have us getting booked more is by the experiences they get to the places that we take.
Yes.
So if I bring you to Bacardi and you don't deliver a good experience, and my client is frustrated, I will lose out on the job. It affects me. So within that value chain, we need to understand that you're not doing me a favor to deliver. We're doing ourselves a favor. And we need to up the game. And I love what you said about not taking mediocrity. This sector is not a sector that you just come and pass and go. Maybe you start school, you do not get admission to university, you say, okay, let me work in one restaurant. It's not a mediocre industry. Tourism has the capacity of 10% of global GDP. So it's not a small industry, it's a professional sector. Whether you're a barman or waiter, you can imagine someone that is a waiter at Marriott or Transcorp or Radisson Blu. They don't do mediocrity. And it's because we don't go to other places and see how things are done. And most of these people that travel, They are very exposed people. You don't expect them to settle for less because you are not up there. They won't take those excuses. Yeah. So as much as some of us are working so hard to deliver on our experience, we still owe it to all other service providers within the sector to up their game and do not take mediocrity. Truly, if we want to make Jos the hospitality or tourism destination of Nigeria.
Thank you so much. I really want to challenge everybody that is here, that is listening to this right now, either online or here on site, or will listen to this, you know, when it goes up on YouTube some other time in the next one year or whenever. Let's stop taking mediocrity. We need to. The only way we can increase the service is to ensure that excellence is the watchword across everything that we are doing. Now, all of us on this panel represent various parts, various sectors within this ecosystem. And one thing stands sure, that excellent service is what we all need. The lack of excellent service affects all of us. All these industries all these sectors that are represented here. So this is a challenge to all of us as much as possible. Uphold excellence. It might pain you today, but it will pay you tomorrow. Right? Now, yeah. Jemima, a number of people will talk about, getting into this thing, I want to set up this, I want to set up that, but the challenge is money. What are some insights from your experience that will help for a lot of people who are looking to either invest in any part of these sectors, but they are looking at financial constraints? Right? Either the person is within the city here, because of course there are many opportunities. You shared with me an opportunity for a certain kind of restaurant that you're looking to do, right? And opportunities yakpa, but some people might feel like money is a constraint. How have you been able to go through that constraint, and what are the insights you are going to share to potential investors or potential project developers, in the city?
Okay, what I would say is before you go to look for funding, know exactly what you're looking for funding for.
Okay.
Because a lot of people have ideas that they haven't developed. There's no proposal to it. They just have like scanty ideas here. They're not specific to it. Because one thing I can guarantee you is getting investors. I mean, it might be difficult to get your first investor, but trust me, afterwards, you learn from the process and it becomes a lot easier. Mm-hmm. I can tell you now that I have people that are waiting for investment-ready options, and I do not have investment-ready options to give them, which is why I told you the initiative Invest in Jos is to gather these options in different sectors so that whatever someone wants to invest in, whether it's the infrastructure of it, whether it's the business side of it, we have what we're giving to you. What is already fleshed out, has been patterned, has a track record as well. Like I said, it will save us a lot of stress, especially on the business side of investment. Now, what I'm trying to do, like the project he's talking about is a seafood restaurant. Yeah. I don't have any expertise in a seafood restaurant. I don't even know where to get those things from. But I've gone to Abuja. I have seen people that do strictly seafood restaurants. And I'm like, okay, can you come down to Jos and expand your business, give them the opportunities and what is available here, and come and manage. So, for example, I've gotten Shark Express to be interested in that particular business. Now, first of all, saying that whatever it is we call it by Shark Express builds credibility. Mm-hmm. So already, I know Shark Express has a track record. They just need to prove that, and they have that to prove, and I'll bring that forward. So now when I bring that into play, it's easier for me to get an investor to bring the building up because they can see the numbers and they can see the lights and they can see the future of it. It doesn't matter whether it's a restaurant. It doesn't matter whether it's a school. It doesn't matter whether it's a hospital. I mean, at this point, people come to me for different things that I have no idea about, but being able to plug them and being able to get these options ready for investment. So the investors are there. It's just where you're looking at and how you're looking at them, which direction you're coming from, and how well you know what you're going for.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Do we have any question from the audience? I'd like to take at least one, or at most one. Any question? Okay. We have one hand there and one. Okay, so we'll take the two of you. So we'll take those two questions and then we'll take our final remarks and bring this to a close.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm up again. Just maybe I think I have two suggestions. The first is, we're having some conversations a few days ago, and someone asked, what are the statistics of people that are coming into JAWS? Across the entire value chain, we don't know who is coming into JAWS, and we don't know how to plan for who is coming into JAWS. Now, when I talk about like statistics, as a techie, data is very big, and you know the type of insights that you can get from data. But across the value chain, and even to content creators, for example, when you are putting out content, numbers are a very big way of selling yourself in content. So you don't, if, for example, let's say like the embassy now says, oh, last year we lodged 200 nights out of 300. What it begins to feel in your mind is these guys run a very, very active business as you are thinking about, because the numbers just jump in your face. But it feels like in the entire value chain, there's no such statistic at any point to pick and work with. And when you talk to people that are coming into JAWS, sometimes, let's say you're trying to sell a proposal or you're trying to sell maybe an event or something, when the narrative hits you, if that we have these statistics from the industry, I can say, oh, but do you know that just last year, we have over 100,000 people that came into JAWS? That tells a different story entirely. So I don't know if all of these people, like all of you in your respective areas within the industry, if you maintain numbers and how you present those numbers, that can be something that I feel would benefit the entire outlook for those of us who might not be in the industry but just are passionate about selling JAWS and talking about JAWS, and we know the value and the power of numbers. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. So Jemima wants to take that. You can go ahead.
Okay. So I will speak personally for myself. Under the initiative Invest in JAWS, the first thing I did for over a year was I had 4 interns that have been collecting data. I told them I want to know how many maize farms are in Plateau State. That's how much redundant data I need, because these are the things that drive, will I say, informed decisions, right? So what I've come to realize is there is data, we just don't have it in the same place. Mm-hmm. So for example, I can go to the airline companies and get the data on the traffic of people flying in and out. I can go to the road transport companies and get those data, and they do exist in their record books, but there's no one that is reaching out to them to collect it and put it together in a presentable format for us. I mean, I feel like the government has started a bit, because I come across a couple of government documents that I can see, okay, less than this number of people do this, less than that number of people do this, this is the number of things going on and stuff like that. So I think there is data, but there's no unifier in harnessing this data. What I can say is I definitely do plan to do a public presentation of the data that they've collected at some point this year. So maybe with that, and I want to make it public as well so that people can also put in what they have in the numbers. With that, I think over time we can now start being more specific with what we're reaching out for.
All right, thank you so much. Does anybody want to?
Okay, just to add. So I think the thing with this mic's too loud. So I think one of the problems with data, let me just cite him a bit. Just to add to what Jemima said, it depends on who and where you're asking. Using me for example, if you come ask me data regarding Bacardi, I probably won't tell you, and that's because I'm trying to protect trade secrets, so you won't get that number from me. But what you can get is speculative figures, but it won't be direct. And you can source those kind of data from someone like Mr. Frizzle, and I think some also are public, like the GMD of Plateau Riders give us a numbers of rides they do per day, and number of cards they've been able to sell. Say 58,000 cards at 3,000 naira, that's like 174 million naira alone. So it depends on which data you're trying to gather. Are you trying to gather data around visitors? Are you trying to gather data on their spending power? What kind of data is it you're trying to look for? Exactly.
Okay.
Finally. And also, just to add on the issue of data, I'm really excited with what Jemima is doing to gather data. But I also feel like she was talking about a unifying platform to aggregate the data. And one of the things I will say, as Henry said, which is a fact, there are businesses that you reach out to just give you data of the number of bookings, for example, for a hotel. They won't give you that, right? So, but one body that can, have the capacity to do that is the government. So government can set up a policy to say that every hotel or restaurant in Jos first should register. They can have a directory on how they gather and aggregate data. So if you have a directory where you are getting data from all the hotels, and first off, if you don't even register, first of all, with the government, you are going to be closed down. So you go and register. So you need to even know how many hotels do we have in Jos, how many restaurants do we have. Then you begin to find a way to track their bookings, right? So a system has to be created, and this is not a project that a private sector person can drive. You can do as much. We can keep track of data of the number of people that come into Jos through us. That we can give you. But we cannot give you the data of number of tourists that come to Jos, because some of them don't come through me. So, but do we have a platform where we can all be plugged in from the tour operator side, the hotel side, the restaurant side, the transport side, and that can form the data that we will use as a state to project, to say that Plateau is investment worthy. And these are the number of people that we have into Jos every month, every 6 months, and every year. So that in itself will inspire investors or potential investors to take informed decisions, because they only make decisions on the basis of numbers. And they want to be able to press figures and make possible conversions. That's how they think. They don't think on anything. It's figures, conversions. That's what they think. So if the state cannot own up to be at the forefront on aggregating this data and creating a platform, a system where everyone can plug in to deliver that data, then it's going to be a big deal to be able to gather it.
Thank you so much. I'll take your question now, sir.
Good evening. It's not as much a question, it's a contribution. Okay. But I think from the contribution I'm going to give, you might probably make a few statements out of it. Once upon a time, I can't remember how the conversation started, but my father told me a story that they were sat down having a breakfast with a guest of his in Jos. I don't know what hotel back then. I think he was making reference to the 70s. And I think the waiter came towards them and he spilled something onto the jacket of this guest he had. And this guest happened to be an American. And obviously he flared up. But instantly he apologized and then he took the jacket away. And within about 15 minutes he brought it back, it was dry cleaned. And that impressed this American guy. It was something that was really impressive, and that's the end of the story. And why this story is relevant was he was trying to show how people form an idea of a certain people, and that is an American forming an idea of Africans, and then getting surprised by something that they were able to do at the speed that it was done. And one of the things I want to connect it to this, that the whole of today, I don't know, maybe I might have missed it, but nobody seemed to have spoken about the glory days of Jos. It was always about the crisis and then what it is now. So it's kind of these two. Nobody was speaking about before the crisis. There was a glory day. And this was a time when you had a lot of our leaders in Nigeria having a house here in Jos. They were coming over, both the traditional rulers and then the military officers as well, and many other rich men in Nigeria had places and lived in Jos. And I think if you can tell those stories and show what Jos was, what attracted people to Jos, and why there were a lot of, I mean, apart from the missionary people that came, but other foreigners that came to Jos, I think that will tie it all up. And then it can tell that, yes, we went into the dark ages that you referred to, Tim, earlier on, and then now is where we are trying to go back and reconnect with the glory days. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really profound.
Yes, and also, Mommy here can't hear the ladies very well, if you can.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes because she's been finding it difficult to hear them.
Oh.
They're not as loud, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that very important contribution. Thank you. You know, it's easy to allow the dark ages overwhelm that which was there before. And I think that that's also a call to action for me. I've been doing some research about Jos. It's probably also why the video I did about the Hill Station sparked a lot of conversation, because it's a pride and joy for many people. I saw some comments, and somebody was saying, I did my honeymoon here 45 years ago. I was not born 45 years ago. I was still in heaven. Right? So a lot of people say, oh, this was where I first learned to swim in 1960 something. Oh, this was where my grandma used to walk in 1980 something. So and so many great comments there. And I think that there is maybe in future conferences, I would say to the organizers that we probably might need to synergize people that were very active in the old, if we can find them, and bring them to connect with the new, so that we can chart a path that has deep heritage, but also innovation and future forward thinking. Yeah? Thank you so much. Okay, yes, Frizzle.
Yes, so quickly. So in a bid to amplify some of these stories, right, of what Jos was, I've actually written a book called The Jos Travel Guide. And in the Jos Travel Guide, one of the things I tried to do was to have some interviews. And one of the interviews that is captured in that guide is, I titled it Nostalgic Memories, Life in Jos in the 70s and 80s. And I interviewed a particular lady who is currently the Director of Research and Planning of PRTV. And she told me her story because she came into Nigeria as a dual national, and her father works as Commissioner of Works with Solomon Lari's administration. And so her story is captured in the guide, and that will give you a good perspective of what Jos was like in the 70s and in the 80s. So if you want to read it, it's up on Seller. Just find it.
Yeah. I mean, by the guide, it's extremely rich. I can't say more than that. Okay, so final thing, for every, as we tie this up for every of our panelists, I'm going to start from Mr. Wisdom and then bring it all the way down to end with Damilola. So Wisdom, Daniel Ayuba, Jemima, Henry, Frizzle, and Damilola. What is one call to action or one advice that you will give to another sector that is different from the one you are operating right now, represented on this panel, right? And then what decision would you be making, right, based on your industry for collaboration with the sectors represented here? So it's a two-part question. A call to action, a call to action or a critical advice that you're giving to specifically to another industry or sector represented here, and then a collaborative decision that you'll be making going forward.
Okay, thank you so much, Timothy, and thank you to everyone. I've had a nice time listening to everyone speak. What feedback would I give to, I think my feedback would be to Henry and the people in hospitality. A lot of the conversations have gone on. We've understood some of the causes of some of the things that are happening there, but my feedback would be we need to raise the bar of excellence in hospitality, a top notch. And now I must state this. During our tour, we went, Bacardi came highly recommended. We didn't have any issue with Bacardi because unfortunately what we were looking to have, they didn't have it at the time. So I'm not speaking to Bacardi, I'm speaking to the hospitality sector. I think that, I don't want to mention the names of any brands, but we had very, very bad experiences in some of them, right? So I would say we need to raise the bar of excellence. If we shouldn't look at Jos as Jos. We are playing the global market, right? When the Obudu Calabar Festival was booming, they didn't look at it as Calabar. They looked at it as a place on earth. So I think we need to raise the bar and benchmark with global best practices around the hospitality sector. Collaborations, I think that it goes without saying, I'm a businessman, right? My business is different from Frizzle's business. but my business would not succeed without all of you on that table. So I think there's always room for collaborations. We did a tour to Jos, and then after that, the people that were advising us to not come so that as an only child, I don't lose my life. They are the ones requesting that we do another one. So that is a simple handshake with, for example, Timothy or Frizzle, so that I don't have to be the one driving that, so I can just stay on the aggregation part of the deal. And then I know at least from the experience that we had, that the other end will be sorted. And coincidentally, when my team reached out, they reached out to Timothy and Frizzle. So it could have been any one of you. And I saw that at the end of the day, there was no bad blood. I really appreciate that about Jos, that the people currently in the industry, they have a collaborative mindset. And that shows me how far the sector can grow. So that would be my commitment, that it will be a handshake. If I have to do anything with Jos, there's Timothy, there's Frizzle, and then we'll just do a handshake. And I'm sure that the people that we're bringing from here with very high taste will be satisfied. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Daniel.
My stuff's not working. Sorry, Timothy, what's the question again? Okay, somebody else. Okay.
So I said, what is one call to action or one advice that you're going to give to another sector or industry represented here that is different from yours? And then what decision for collaboration would you be making from this event?
Okay. I think that is a very good way for us to end this panel discussion, because at the same time, to be honest, in hospitality, there's no pleasing in Nigerian, to be honest. There's no pleasing in Nigerian at all. So you might probably be doing something very good, but the person is like, okay, I don't want it like this, I want it like that. I mean, we're all humans, and as customers, they're always right. So I think basically for restaurants in Jos, definitely everybody is doing perfectly fine, especially Bacardi. But fun fact, Bacardi at one time was selling steak for 10,000 naira. Henry, what happened to that? I'm not joking. So, yeah, thank you so much also to, sorry, Frizzle called it something else. He said he doesn't want to be called a tour guide anymore. So, yeah, an experienced guide. Okay, experienced curator. Definitely, we have definitely had some referrals from you, from Timothy, especially like content you guys actually put up online. Then for investments, people here that are looking to invest, honestly. So before I say that, Damilola, just in case the 8.5 billion, if there's change. So sorry. So for the people that are actually looking at investing, honestly, like they're actually high net worth individuals in Jos. Don't be looking at it as Jos. They're actually people that actually do have money here in Jos. So what I would tell you as an entrepreneur, hospitality, honestly, was not even my thing. My father passed away in 2022. He left the company for us, which is into construction and real estate, you understand? So we're like, okay, let us try something new. That's why I'm into hospitality. If not, my major sector is construction and real estate. So do not relent, do what you have to do. Like Jemima said, once you get the first investor, I mean, getting the rest, man, is not hard, honestly, but, bruh, come on. Trying to convince a platoon man to give you money. So, but then, please, don't allow anybody to ever tell you no. Don't ever allow anybody to tell you no, you cannot pursue your dreams, no, you cannot do this, because that's the same thing too they told me. You get. try as much as possible as a youth to have integrity in what you are doing. You understand? If this is a certain amount, say this is it. If you are supposed to refund somebody back their money, refund them back their money. And always speak positive about Plateau State. Because if you don't speak, these things about positive things about Plateau State, we won't be here. Imagine now I'll go to someone like Bakari and they'll be saying, oh, this is that, this. No. I'll correct you. I'll like, this is what I know. This is what I know about Timothy. This is not what I know about Jemima and all of that. And fun fact about Jemima, when I was doing this, so this is where the whole collaboration thing starts now. So so the thing about with Jemima, when I was trying to purchase the land for the embassy, you understand, we had the money complete to buy the land and all of that. But I told her that, see, I only have the money for the land, or I don't have the money for your agency. And she said, no problem. So you see, so this kind of things only happen in Plateau State. Do you get? In Abuja, okay, where's my agency fee? It can never happen. So, I mean, like, I'm supposed to be giving, like, recommendations of, like, what everybody's supposed to do in the individual sectors. But, like I said, there's no pleasing in Nigerian at all. You get? Yeah. So, please and please, whatever you guys are doing, just keep it up. Try as much as possible to be the best at what you do. And, yes, just definitely is coming up. And as the whole PDP slogan of Plateau State says, the time is now. Honestly, the time is now. Because investments made back 2 years ago is not the same price now. I can tell you for a fact that how much you bought land in 2023 at Guratop and how much land now is it at Guratop has gone up 3x. So nobody should deceive you that there's nothing in Jos. You're going to waste your money. Okay, good and fine. That's where you have the business mindset now, that you either lose or win. Yeah. And losses are not counted as losses, you understand? They are counted as lessons. So please and please, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Jemima.
Okay. So I think I would speak directly to Damilola because she holds the highest investment here, which is what I'm interested in. But what I would say is, if there's room for more, there's more to be done. We can do so much more, and in different sectors. Where I would say we can collaborate is I have locations, I have access to locations and high network individuals that we can partner with to bring dreams and infrastructure especially to life. So if there's more room for that, we can collaborate on that for sure.
Awesome, thank you so much.
So I think I will still direct my collaboration to the content creators, because I think in a way we've been able to move that synergy between ourselves. Like, so within the tour industry, the hotels, I think first big collaboration we had per se was with Embassy. So we did a Valentine's Day package around 2023, and then other partnerships with you. Jemima has brought a lot of customers, so thank you. Yes. So this is just like an open call to the content creators. So if you can shoot high value content, high pictures, videographers, photographers, you can just shoot us a DM, and then we'll see areas we could partner up on. Yeah. There's like a lot of opportunities, especially within our own sector. We have a lot of people who are coming into like proposals, family dinners and stuff. They need videographers and photographers to cover these engagements, these events, so you could come in, make your cool money. Like one of the speakers was saying, there's a lot of money to be made. Yep. So even if you're a supplier, if you supply Maggi, if you supply salt, whatever it is, there's always a room for you. The value chain is long, so there's always so you can tap into, regardless. Yeah. Even down to the minimal thing. If you're making soup, whatever it is, if you have a tile polisher, if you can clean tiles, whatever, there's always a room. So I don't think I have much to add on our sectors, because we've been able to do that over the years.
So before you go on, Frizzle, content creators in the house, a free opportunity has been a door of opportunity has been opened. Please Please don't let this door waste.
Come and collect your money.
Come and collect your money. People are always doing. Every week, Henry is posting proposal
Come and collect your money.
from Bacardi. Who are the content creators shooting those proposals? Who are the people telling Bacardi's story? There are other projects he's getting into that are also high-value restaurants in the city that are about to launch. Who are the people that are going to be telling their stories? I'm giving you free opportunity now.
Come and collect your money. And the funny thing is, some of these content creators, the ones we've worked with, or some of the photographers, videographers, some of them charge, let me say, as high, as low, as 20K per hour. So imagine if it's a 3 hours dinner, that's like 60K. That's, if you do that 2 times a week, that's like 120K. That's more than the minimum wage of the federal government even pays.
Yes.
So there's an untapped money. Let me get my ring light first. I'll go chat to the market.
All right. Okay, so I will also add to what Henry said. He said something that people are not paying attention to about the supply chain. Hope you people know that in this restaurant business, they need suppliers of a lot of things. From meat to fish to vegetables. Gas, they need people. Gas. They don't produce it though. Yes, and Henry asked me one time, I can't remember what it is. There was something he was looking for, that Bacardi was looking for. I should look for someone to source it. Do you know we couldn't get anybody in just that? We're thinking of Lagos to get it from me. So, supply, you know, how are you engaging some of these restaurants? Some of these restaurants are struggling to know we'll be supplying them chicken every week. You need to go and engage them. It's not necessarily about just doing content creation and doing that. The value chain is long. So I'll leave that to rest. Now, I want to speak on the issue of investor. Honestly, and particularly, I'm not really worried about, as you said, they are investors. People have money, and they are looking for where to invest. And for me, I can only speak for the tourism and the hospitality sector. One of the things that I feel is a need, we don't diversify our investments in tourism and hospitality. And what do I mean? I've realized that sometimes we have limitation in experiences that we can curate. And this is because we are recycling some of the places that we take tourists every now and then. If it's not Wildlife Park, it's 10 Commandments. If it's not 10 Commandments, it's Reefy Resort. If it's not Reefy Resort, it's like, we need diversity in experience. Yes. So we need people to invest in other forms of tourism experience that do not exist. Yes. So that if I want to curate an itinerary, I'm not just recycling the same thing. So sometimes when I curate itineraries for Jaws, I tell you, sometimes I get bored, but I just have to get creative. And I always say, I don't create one itinerary 2 times. Even if I'm taking it to the same place, I curate it in different ways. Because I don't want it to just be a repetition of activity. It should be an experience. So for us, I think there is shortage in experience destinations. Even in the options of the kinds of restaurants, she was saying a seafood restaurant, that's an experience. We don't have a seafood restaurant. So if you're investing in a restaurant, don't want to say, I want to open a restaurant like Bacardi. There are other forms of restaurants you can open. If you want to open a cafe, it must not be a normal cafe. You can open a book cafe where people just come and read and have different things. Film cafes, like, it can be different things. And that itself enriches the quality of guest experience. So sometimes I get frustrated because I'm short of places to take people. It's almost the same thing. If you are opening hotels or apartments, your apartments can deliver unique experience. You must not do your apartment like Embassy. You can position your apartment to deliver a different kind of experience. So we always need to think in the line of experience. And that is really what's going to position us. So that even if I'm opening a hotel, I'm not just opening a hotel like Crispin or like Swiss or like any other hotel. I want to open a hotel that delivers to a need audience. There's always a need audience. And I've been saying it and I'll say it again. Please, we need an agro-tourism resort in Plateau State. There's no other place that a place like Almat Farm should be, if not just. Because we have everything it takes to deliver that experience. So if you are looking for investors, open an agro-tourism resort in Plateau State. So I'm speaking to investors. People in tech, there's huge opportunity for tourism. And I'm saying this to say that everything is about enhancing guest experience. Someone came here earlier and was talking about virtual reality experience. It's already happening at Chillers. Uncover Plateau is delivering that. And beyond that, there are other forms of experiences. We always take people to Jos National Museum. There are people that want to interact, have digital art experiences, right? If you go to Abuja, there's the Discovery Museum. It's not a traditional museum, but it's an experience that is unique. So that's what I mean about diversifying investment. So we need to position our state that whoever is coming to Jos has variety of things to do. And whoever is curating the experience is not short of the kind of experience they can deliver. So I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, so just sorry to cut you. Just to add to what he's saying. You know, when they say investment, it sounds bogus or cumbersome per se in the ear. So investment does not necessarily have to be like structural. It could be idea. It could maybe you have this idea for an event. You have this idea for one thing. It doesn't have to be investment to build a place. If you're a content creator, your investment could be maybe you need to get one LED light that's like maybe 80K, 100K. Because if you don't have that money, if you're sourcing money from somewhere else, it's an investment. Investment doesn't have to be like 2 billion, 3 billion. And then to add also to his tourism option, there's health tourism, there's agro-tourism, there's the fiscal one we go to, there's beauty tourism, there's fashion tourism. You could be a fashion designer. You don't necessarily run a restaurant. You could want to do maybe a walkway, you want to do maybe a fashion show, and then you need people to partner with you, collaborate, invest, maybe give you locations, maybe sponsor chairs, maybe sponsor vendor stands. So these are like areas. So I don't think we should limit ourselves to just structural, yes, just be in one spot. So even this whole tourism thing does not really revolves around you picking somebody to go show the person somewhere. No. It could be food tourism. There are countries around the world where, like Spain now, they have the La Tamita. So it's like a tomato festival.
Yes.
They just come, harvest tomato, and then throw around themselves. So if you're a farmer, we could do agro-tourism. Maybe when it's strawberry, exactly. If it's, even down to Anambra State, there's what they call the Ofala Festival. So that comes during the New Yam Festival. Yeah. So if you're a farmer, you have plugging strawberries, you're doing tomato, you're doing yam. Those are like avenues for you to tap into under the umbrella of tourism. So when they say the tourism, it does not mean you have to carry someone to go show the person William Rock. So explore other options. If you need some sort of guidance, these are the king's maker.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, so Frizzle, I think we at the EU Station, we have some more experiences for you to, to add to your portfolio. One of the things we are doing at the EU Station is to have hiking trails for beginners, intermediate, and professional level. And we'll have the hiking. EU Station is over 12 hectares of land. And so we have hiking trails around so that people can hike. Another thing we are doing right now is also the petting zoo. I told you about the non-carnivorous. So we have a lot of opportunities to collaborate. A lot of people travel out of the country to Dubai, to Qatar, to have curated packages, experience. It involves desert walks and all that. And we can do that here. We can partner with restaurants, have them partner with even other hotels that can have their guests come in to do hiking and all that across Plateau State. So I see an opportunity for collaboration for all of us here to partner and do better things for Plateau State generally. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. One of the things I noticed this year that I've gotten a lot is a lot of people booking farm tours with me, right? There's certain farmers and certain farms I go to, and I've had people coming over, and every time they go to those places, especially during strawberry season, they buy a lot, right? So agro-tourism is something that we're sleeping on right now. And for anybody, I've had this idea for a long time. I'm throwing it out there. If you have the money, do it. Please, I think we do need an authentic, traditional plateau restaurant that looks like a traditional setting, that sells things like gote, sells things like amora, sells things like risgas. Do you understand? Because people come to town and they're asking, okay, so what are the traditional foods here? And like the other day I had to ask, I put it on my post, somebody asked me where they can buy gote, and different people were sending me different, like I want to be able to walk into one place and know that I don't have to cross gutter to have a traditional food experience. I don't have to see a lot of flies to have a traditional food experience. It's somewhere nice, somewhere cozy, but it's somewhere that is deeply entrenched in culture. That is also an experience on its own, apart from the food. Do you understand? So I'm throwing it out there. If you have the money, do it. I have customers, I'll bring them. Frizzle has customers, he'll bring them. Do you understand? All right. I think with that brings us to the end of this panel session. I want to appreciate Mr. Wisdom, Ms. Jemima, Mr. Daniel, Mr. Frizu, Mr. Henry, and Ms. Damilola, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for the amazing contributions that you've brought to this conversation. It's been very rich, very insightful, and I'm looking next year. Because you know this year now, I said something that happened last year that they've not yet done. Next year I'll still be here at this festival, at this conference. If we've not done anything from this panel, I will say it again next year. So that's just to say that there's a lot of work to be done. We have a lot of places to collaborate, and we have experiences to create. Thank you so much. You can take your seats now. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, we need to take a group picture. Group picture, please.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. You've been extremely patient. We've been running this now for about 6-7 hours, and you have waited. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Appreciate yourselves. It's not easy, but I hope that in the conversations and everything that has happened here, you found opportunities that you can plug into. Because if you've spent 7 hours here and you're leaving here without definite call to actions and definite opportunities to plug into, then it's a waste of time. There's so much opportunity in the tourism and hospitality space on the plateau. And I can't wait to see how collaborations will be formed from here. I was talking with Annie and I was telling her about an idea that popped into my mind of a unique collaboration between her music and the tours that we curate. And so, please make sure that you get the number of somebody beside you. Ensure that you make very valid collaborations. Ensure that you make very valid collaborations from this event, right? And it will be amazing. Before we leave, I want to recognize the face of tourism on the plateau, Stephanie. It is good to have you here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always supporting tourism activities, tourism events. All right, thank you so much. With this brings us to the very end of today's event. I want to say thank you to the organizers, to Mr. Mark and the entire team. Thank you. It's been a beautiful, beautiful event today. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I can't wait to see you at next year's event. It's going to be bigger, it's going to be better, and we're going to have come back here with a larger and even more impactful tourism ecosystem on the plateau. Do take care and have a wonderful evening.
Because